Hi, it's Devin talking the world here. So last time we talked about life. One thing I didn't mention about it is that balance. And the reason why I want to talk about balance because balance plays an important role. It's a very key thing. After all, everything needs to have a balance. Like for example, good and evil, good student, bad student, good cop, bad cop, cop versus robbers. You know what I mean? You kind of get the point. Everything has to have a balance in order to store order and make sense of everything. Because without balance, there is chaos, which I know you heard that before. After all, for every balance has a rule and has a set of rules that we all have to abide or follow by. Because if we don't follow those rules, those balances become off balance. And certain things don't always go in your way. Sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. If you watch those cartoons or some cop shows or superhero shows, that good always seems to win over evil. Well, that's not always the case. That's not really because good always win or evil always lose. It's because of the balance system. Either side can win. The good wins based on saving people, or evil, they can win by knowledge, knowing what they can use or weakness. Everything has a weakness, and that's what makes it interesting. Everything has a balance, everything has a weakness, and everything is put in place for a reason. I mean, we use Christianity, like heaven and hell, as a balance system, a way to identify what's bad and what's good, what's right and what's wrong. But like I said, I always believe in the balance system. And kind of make it a little bit ironic. I'm a Libra, and our zodiac is like a scale, a weigh scale, or something like that. So it makes sense for someone like me to believe in the balance system that everything has to have some sort of way to equalize. If you didn't know, like the Egyptian believed in that kind of thing too, where pharaohs or one of the people dies, they use the heart and they weigh the heart. If the heart is level, that means it's good and bad, or neutral, which means he has never done anything wrong in his life, or has done something wrong in his life. And online, if the heart is higher, like lighter, that means the person's been good, it's been saved, so it can be sent to the afterlife. If the heart is heavy, usually represents sins, evil. Therefore, they would send that to the underworld, which is kind of similar to the Greek mythology as well. The underworld, Hades, or paradise, like heaven and whatnot. But without a balance, there is no structure, there is no life, there is no social system, there's no really anything. Without balance, it's just utterly chaos. The world will run crazy, life will go wild, and you feel like you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, without any consequences. It's not always the case, right? I mean, a balance is a way for us to keep life simple, for us to understand, to know what to do and where to go, and also make life interesting. Like I mentioned earlier about a good cop, bad cop. A good cop can preserve, protect, and look after the citizen and enforce the law, whereas the bad cop will abuse the law to their own gain. Or they do bad things to do good things, to do good. Yeah. Same as school system, whereas we have good students and bad students. Good students have good grades, good marks. Bad students are the ones who are not always passing, always the ones who fails. Along the line, there are good teachers, bad teachers. Teachers are good, who are showing and teaching the students how to get through things, how to understand, whereas bad teachers are not really good at the job and not really showing how to do things. Right. Especially the bully system, where there's school bullies, A lot of people think there's just bullies in school, but really, after school, there are bullies in life that always try to pin you down, or always trying to be better than you, always trying to make you look small, weak, like a prey. But if you think about it, it's kind of necessary to have some form of bully in someone's life. I don't mean in a good way. I don't mean it like I improve or encourage it. I don't. But it's a way to help others strengthen their lives. I mean, bullying enough to potentially get them to stand up for themselves. Those students or people who stand up for themselves always tend to rise above. I mean, look at the nerds or geeks. Bullies end up working for them, right? They're always being the enterprise top people. But then again, bullies shouldn't bully too hard or too long on a person who potentially will be going to suicide or kill themselves or think their life is over or whatnot. That's going too far, which shouldn't be. I mean, there should be a restriction on that, how far or what the limit should go. But kids will be kids, adults will be adults, I guess. But there should be no excuse, right? Yeah. But in every which way you look at it, everything has a balance, and everything happens for a reason if you believe in that kind of thing. Life just can't simply go on without reassuring things don't fall in a simple way. I mean, like, it's a karma system too. If you do good things, something good will happen to you. Do something bad, something's going to come and bite you in the ass. And that's just kind of a way to balance. I mean, especially natural death. For every death, someone is being born. For someone who is being born, there's someone who dies. And that's usually, some scientists or some people would say that's population control. You know, and I get that. But at the same time, death is part of a natural selection. It's part of a natural thing. It's part of balance. It's a way to even out the world and life in their natural system. Especially with memory. Memory has a balance as well. You remember the good things and the bad things and repercussions that become dreams, which we'll be talking about dreams some point later on as well, along with other things I mentioned earlier. But I just wanted to know that balance is a necessary thing and is an unseen thing. I know you cannot see it, you can't touch it, you can't even fix it or change the law of it. It's kind of like chemistry. Everything has an equal reaction of a reaction. So it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. But without balance, like I mentioned earlier, it's chaos. Or it might not be chaos at all. I mean, look at Amsterdam. There's practically no laws there, and there's a little bit of the lowest crime rates. So I've heard. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is about balance, is knowing that it's there to help and serve its purpose, to let us know that we're not alone and that we are not without use, that everything is put in place to equalize equal opportunities if you know how to seize the day. So this is Devin talking to the world. Talk to you next time.